You are now tuned into the 2-Minute Warning, a live stream community conversation pertaining to social and political issues and how we can collectively resolve them. Powered by the Westside Gazette.
Good evening and welcome to the 2-Minute Warning. My name is David Wright. I'll be filling in for our dear brother, Mr. Perry Busby. And again, welcome to the 2-Minute Warning, hosted and powered by the Westside Gazette, Broward County's oldest, boldest, blackest family-owned newspaper. And here I have with me tonight the publisher of that auspicious newspaper, Mr. Bobby R. Henry Sr. How you doing, my brother?
You know, I am terrific and getting better. And you really, you don't do me any justices when you do me like that, put me on the spot. But I am elated to be a part of this show along with you, David. I really am. And well, kind of miss our sidekick, you know.
Well, he's more than a sidekick.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get through this. We wish our brother well. And for those of you, you know, who may not have heard, Perry's taking a sabbatical. He's going to take some time off to finish his book. And we pray and wish him the best. And we should see him. What did he say? 90 days?
90 days.
Okay, we'll see him back.
We'll see. And the brother is truly an author. He is well written, you know, and you know how you become accustomed to be expecting certain things when you got this street thing going.
Yeah.
And so it may take us a moment to find our footage and you know, and really get back to the hang of things. But I'm glad to be here, David. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I'm just feeling outstanding again. In the words of Charlie Wilson, it's outstanding, man. It just gets better and better every day.
Gooder and gooder.
Even with all the obstacles and everything that shows up in life, to kind of have your feet planted on solid ground prepares you to deal with those things. And I just pray we all get a understanding of what life can be. And trust in the
Yeah. I know we had some conversations prior to us coming on how things are really heating up globally, literally because of the weather. Things are changing, and between people, trying to find that happy medium to not allow things to boil over, if you will.
Well, as my ancestors always said, pressure bust pipes.
Put hickeys on alligator heads.
So we have to find that balance in life where we can be well tempered. We don't allow things to boil up to get to that point. Inside of us, it's hot outside. You can't avoid the external.
Mm-hmm.
But we always say life is an inside. We have to understand what's going on inside of us and manage that well.
And another part of our show, Mr. Coach Noonie Robertson, he won't be joining us tonight. He has some other pressing issues outside of the state that he's taking care of.
Yeah.
So we're riding duo here, man.
Yeah, it's a duo. But we wish our dear brother Noonie well.
Yeah.
I told him when he come back, he's gonna try to take over the whole show with all of his updates on stuff he's missed out on. We got the NBA Finals starting tonight, so we really want to kind of get this show moving because I know some of y'all want to see that. We got some hot topics, man. You know, I want to start with First Lady Michelle Obama. You know, we got word that her mom passed. Miss Marion Robinson passed at the age of 86. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Robinsons and the.
Yeah. And in the same vein, one of our really stalwart soldiers from Texas, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, she faces a battle for her life in that pancreatic cancer, man. That is a serious illness, and we pray for her and her family because that's the one that wow, man, has really been wreaking havoc. And to our viewers, if you have not had a physical or a checkup, please do that. Whatever ailment, whatever what seems to be the smallest thing out of line, please go get it checked out immediately. So our health can't buy it.
Mm-mm. I don't care how much money you got.
No,
And
can't buy it.
we truly have to listen to our body and not ignore what we're hearing. A lot of times we hear it, but we don't want to adhere to it. But please, because you're too valuable. We need you.
Yeah.
Your presence is needed. So we got some celebrations going on, man. I want to kind of segue into the celebration side of this time of year.
Okay.
With all the graduations that are going on from kindergarten to middle school, proms, to high school and college. We want to salute all of our 2024 graduates. I mean, the West Side Gazette did it. They do it every year. They salute our both high school and collegiate graduates.
Well, yeah,
I'll just let you.
Well, not only from our family perspective, but there are those who are close as family who are also graduating. I mean, we have two outstanding family members, O'Sheen Whitaker and Ben Joseph. Both of these graduated from high school with honors. O'Sheen graduated in the top of her class, and she's headed off to Florida A&M University. Right on, O'Sheen. And then Ben, he graduated with a 3.5 or 3.7 average, and he's on his way to Florida A&M University as well. And so we say congratulations to them. And we also have two of our outstanding youth writers. They will be leaving us. Both Layla Davison, she's headed to Florida A&M University, and Samara Rawls, she's headed to University of Florida. So we have two vacant spots. We need two youth writers to come in and fill those spots. There are a lot of other graduates. I can go down the page and call them, but
I think it's best if they get a copy of the paper.
Yeah,
please. Or go online and do the paper.
Please go online and stop by your neighborhood store and pick up a copy and get a hard copy.
Yeah.
And salute the graduates.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But before we jump into our topic tonight, which is democracy will not die, not on our watch.
Not on our watch.
And before we get into this event that's coming up this weekend, there's just a couple other things, man. I'm here right outside of DC, man. They getting tornadoes.
Wait, this alley is moving?
It's moving east, northeast. And people are there like looking like tourists, like they ain't never seen nothing like this before in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. Tornadoes, trees falling on houses. So, guys, this heat, this climate change is something serious. So we definitely want to adhere to it. One of the persons that were interviewed was asked, well, what did you do? Well, what should you? They said, I don't know what to do about a tornado. We ain't prepared for this.
Oh yeah.
And also we're getting into hurricane season here. And so again, we want to reiterate that. Get your water, get your canned goods, do the things, your batteries, your flashlights. Adhere to, I think the city of Fort Lauderdale, Vice Mayor is having a forum coming up this week. So we definitely want to make sure we're prepared. You don't want to put it in the hands of the emergency 911. They ain't coming.
And please don't wait. If it's on your mind, do it now. If your generator is in the back of your garage, get that generator out of there. Create you a hurricane safety box with all of your medicines and your important papers. Everything you need to do. The West Side Gazette will be producing a hurricane guide along with a lot of other sources. So please make sure you are prepared and don't wait till the last minute. You might. We don't want you to wind up in high. Without being prepared. See, we got several viewers joining us right now. Miss Susie Copeland, good evening. Brother Wesley Boyd, Miss Patricia West, and Miss Susie Copeland again. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Yes. And remember to always click on subscribe and like on whatever platform, YouTube or Facebook. So we got a big event coming up, man. You want to kind of give us a little segue on that?
With the NNPA? Are you talking about
well, if you're there, it's definitely the NNPA.
Yeah.
But we got some caucus action going on in the state of Florida.
Yes, we do. I wonder if we can cue that video up, and we'll jump off into it.
Because what's getting ready to kick off is the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida is having their 41st annual conference.
41st. That's a long time.
Yeah. So, yeah, for some of us that may have not known.
Hey everybody, it's Tennessee State Representative Justin J. Pearson. I am so honored to be the keynote speaker at the 41st Black Caucus Conference and Gala, June 7th through the 9th in Orlando, Florida. I am so excited to be around Black Democrats who believe in freedom and liberty and justice for all, who believe in lifting up the voices of those who've been told that they're voiceless, who believe in building community where others have tried to build division. I'm so excited to join you June 7th through June 9th, and I want to see as many of you there as possible. Please go to the link in the bio or the link at the end of this post to join us. Can't wait to see you in Florida, and let's keep going.
All right. Now that
doesn't that make you feel good?
I'm ready.
You know, people, we sit around and we talk. Well, our young people are not doing this and they're not doing that. Well, that brother Justin Jones Pearson just dispelled any myth about young folk who are not socially or culturally or civically involved. You know, so I mean that made me feel really good.
Absolutely, and you mentioned Jones because I hear he's going to be there too. So We're going to have 2 out of the 3 Tennessee 3 Justins at this particular conference. Now, a little bird told me that somebody from the NNPA is going to be there too.
NNPA, yeah, he is.
He is.
They have a plethora of activities planned. And well, let's do this. Let's before we get into that. You mind if I bring on our first guest?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's an honor for me to do this. One of the persons who has been involved with the caucus for a few years and is in her own right a trailblazer in herself is Miss Christina Forrest. Christina is a dynamic leader. She is the first vice president for the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida. She has a strong interest in advancing the Black community. She founded the Santa Rosa County chapter in 2017, promoting political awareness and voter participation. She is a veteran, too, of the United States Air Force, so she understands what it means to thrive under pressure. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to our viewing audience, Miss Christina Forrest. Good evening, Christina.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. And we must say this, Christina, in all of her traveling and all of what she does, she has pulled over in a safe area to join us in this conversation. Yeah. So we thank you for that, and we pray for your safety wherever you are. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to talk about our 41st conference and gala. We are super excited about what is happening this weekend, and I hope to see everybody there. I heard that Miss Susie Copeland was watching, so that made my heart feel good. Miss Susie Copeland has been a longtime leader as well within the Democratic Black Caucus. And so, yeah, I'm super, super excited. And so you just got to hear Justin J. Pearson. We're also going to have Justin Jones there. So as you already mentioned, 2 of the Tennessee 3. It's going to be an amazing, amazing time. So yeah, please definitely come on out. Check us out this weekend. We're going to be out at the Rosen Center near the Convention Center. And there's going to be so much going on.
Okay. So our next guest I'm going to bring on is Miss Jill Lewis-Daggs. Has over 20 years experience in human resources director. She served as the Okaloosa County State Committee woman and the Division of Inclusion Chair for the Okaloosa DEC, the Treasurer and Program Logistics Director of the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, Without any further ado, we want to go ahead and bring Miss Jill on and let her tell us a little more about herself. Welcome to the 2-minute warning, Miss Jill Lewis-Day.
Good evening.
Good evening. I am super excited. It is an absolute honor to be on your show and to have share with the audience what we're going through. It's wonderful to see my best friend and the first vice president of the DBC on, and they're traveling safely here. And in a moment, I need to give a shout out to the team that's here actually putting all this together. I took a break just for a moment to come on and share whatever you need to know so that you can be here, because it's going to be an amazing weekend.
So Jill, tell me, are you actually at the center putting things together?
I am actually here. I'm going to then, since you gave me the plug, I'm going to share that I have Florence Shelton Clark. Susie Copeland is here, but she jumped on. I have Ornetta Slaughter, Francine Garcia, Lillian Lockett, her husband William, Wes Hodge is a candidate that came over to help us. Our President Trevor Mallory is on his way, and we have been working all day long since 7 o'clock this morning, and we have about 5 more hours till we get it set so that on that Friday and Saturday it will be phenomenal. I have I think the best thing I can say is I like things to be fabulous. I want you to feel like it's fabulous. I want us to present fabulous, and I want everyone who works here to know that I'm like the right hand. So I want the Rosen staff to feel fabulous. I want them to know that democracy will not die on our watch, and that takes us being kind to one another. That takes us communicating with one another. That takes us doing the work that needs to be done. So that's what we're doing. They probably will go to sleep on me, and I'll be up doing the rest. But Florence will be right there with me, because she never goes to sleep until I do.
Are any of those people you mentioned, are they anywhere near you that they can stick their head in so we can get a look at them? Are they anywhere around?
Here's Florence.
Okay. Hey, Florence, classmate.
Hey, Florence. How are you?
Wonderful.
Yeah. All right. For those of our viewers who are looking, Florence is from Fort Lauderdale. So that's home girl. Yeah. Who else is there? Yeah.
You want to go get the others and just tell them to pop over? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's going to get them. We have two rooms, and we came to the quiet room, so I'll have them pop in just a second.
Okay.
But
we do. Go. I'm sorry. Go.
No, go ahead.
We do see. Is that the president? Is Trevor? Okay.
Oh,
he's on the backdrop. He's backstage. So
go. He just walked in the door.
Oh.
He's on my screen.
What?
See him? He's on my screen.
What's happening?
Doing, Jim?
yes, sir.
Very well. Very well. Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to an exciting weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so are we. And I definitely want to thank you all for the opportunity to use your platform for the DBCF to put our message out and to push our event that's going to be big this weekend for our 41st conference.
So what are we expecting?
Oh, man. We're expecting democracy will not die on our watch. We are expecting a lot of powerful speakers. A lot of our legislators will be involved. Some of our senators will be involved. And it's just a lot of grassroots and people with boots on the ground. And it's going to be very educational and very exciting.
Brother Trevor, since this is the 41st conference, can you give us a little backdrop history on the DBCF?
Hold on. The team is here. Can we let them just say hi really quick?
Sure.
Then we'll bring you back to everybody. This is Francine Garcia from Lake County. How are you?
Hello, Francine.
From Lake County.
There's Lillian Lockett from Lake County.
Hello, Lillian.
There's Derek Scott from Escambia County.
Oh, Pensacola, Panhandle.
All right, there.
Up in my area. I'm in Niceville, so we're from all state here working to make sure this turns out fabulous. They're going to find Susie Copeland.
Okay.
Christina, who is that in the backdrop with you?
Yourself. Hi, I'm Cheryl Mulrain from Pensacola.
Okay.
Hello, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
People call it P-Cola.
P-Cola in the house.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it is indeed a pleasure to see everybody working together in unison, trying to get this done. We understand. We know how difficult it can be to put on not just an event, but an experience. And so we understand and how hard it is. But Jill, give us a little bit more info on exactly what it is and how difficult or what has been pleasing in doing this.
So what I would say, let me tell you what's going on, and then you can kind of get a better feel of what we're doing. So on Friday night, we have our kickoff, State of the Caucus. We have the mayor from Orlando. One of his representatives is going to come. We have Representative Justin J. Pearson's going to give a quick welcome. Our fabulous president is going to give the State of the Caucus, and then we throw a fabulous reception, food, drinks, and it gives you the opportunity to meet with some legislators, meet with the people that are coming, gives our caucuses the opportunity to find out what's going on in Northwest Florida, what's going on in South Florida, and then how can we pull all that together and either duplicate or learn from and then implement. Panels, 40 different, and I will add that, yes, you will be on there with us, and we are so excited. And you were instrumental in making sure that we had the media panel, so thank you for that. But we have fabulous panelists coming in, and for the first time ever, we are meeting and combining our efforts with the NAACP, which never happens. And they have enveloped us and said, yes, we love what you have going on. We need to be there. We want to be at the table. We're joining all of the DBCF conference attendees with their state of Florida leadership team. So they'll have over 100 there, and plus our 100. So over 200 people on that fourth panel where we are bringing together entities. So the NAACP, Biden for Florida, the DBCF, Black Voters Matter, all together to talk about how do we work together to make sure that democracy doesn't die on our watch. And probably the only obstacle I would tell you is time, and make it this time, because we have to have a conference. We put this together, everything is on the line.
Amen. Okay. Christina, from the VP position, what's your take on it? What are you doing?
So my take is that I'm coming to you as a Black woman. Right now, I am terrified every time my husband and my sons leave the house. We live just down the road from where Senior Airman Fortson was killed. There's a war on particularly Black women. We do not have the rights that we had just a few months ago, and it is all on the line. Everything is on the line, and democracy is on the line. So making sure that that message gets out, and that we cannot have apathy this election season. We need everybody to come out and vote. That there is so much that if we don't get that message across, we're going to lose. And I don't mean something small and insignificant. I'm talking about our lives. And so just making sure that we all understand what's at stake.
Wow, I can really feel what you're saying, Christina, and you're absolutely right. And not just our lives, the lives of our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. So I do feel the importance, the urgency of getting this word out. Jill, I want to just go back to you real quick. Who do you have there with you also? You just brought, is that Miss Copeland?
Yes, I have Susie Copeland with us. There she is. She's here.
Hello, guys. Good seeing you. So glad you're putting this podcast on. It's our hearts so great to know that others are out there rooting for us and pushing for us to have a successful conference. Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
And I have
classmate.
one.
That's right, classmate.
All of you classmates. I have a special guest. He is running for Orlando supervisor election, and he felt so strongly about joining with us, not just as a candidate, as a friend, and as someone who believes that democracy must be saved. Wes Hodge is here, so I want to share with you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's good to see you all. And, you know, like we all said, democracy is on the line, and having a very strong supervisor of elections is key. It's part of why I'm running, and making sure that democracy does not die on our watch at all.
Amen.
Oh, okay, Wes, so let us understand. So you're running for the supervisor of elections? Is that what we're hearing?
In Orange County.
In
yes.
Orange County?
In Orange County, yes.
Yes.
Now, I
Yes,
do
correct.
know that you have, okay. I do know that there are some strong workers that I know personally, Miss Susie Copeland, Miss Florence Shelton, so much so that they've been going out throughout neighborhoods and at-risk neighborhoods, if you will, to make sure that literature is being given out and encouraging people to vote. What are you doing, Wes, to make sure that happens?
Well, we are in the middle of a special election right now in the city of Orlando District 5, which is a predominantly African-American access seat. And so for the last 2 months, I've actually been out in the neighborhoods, walking with the various candidates, handing out their literature and letting voters know that we do have this special election. There's a runoff on June 18th. So I'm very much an on the grounds kind of person, and making sure that people know that there's an election coming up and they need to have their voice heard.
Now, Orlando is a very diverse county. So are you guys able to reach the masses in this diverse community?
We are, you know, the disappointing thing was on the initial election back in May, we only had 10% turnout, but we're continuing to work the neighborhood. We're continuing to walk on the streets and continuing to tell the voters that they need to have their voice heard. We're doing multilingual outreach. We're doing Spanish and Haitian Creole as well. So, you know, like I said, we are a very diverse community, and we're making sure that the voters have the information they need and the language they're most comfortable with.
Awesome.
Well, we here in Broward County was supposed to be, or claimed to be, one of the bluest parts as it pertains to Black folk. Now, there was a drop off, and trying to reassure or convince or get people to truly understand what it is and what it means, especially this coming election, has been difficult. And not throwing shade, but just that the Democratic message is not really resonating to the point where we need it. Let me go to you, Christina. Are you? I want to ask you a yes and no question. What are you doing to change that narrative that the Democratic Party's message is not resonating with Black folk?
So I think that's fair, and I think what changes that is first listening. It's listening to people. It's listening. It's getting out. It's knocking on doors. It's understanding what people need and not us telling. We still have to educate about what's going on in the process, but it really comes down to listening. And so that's what is so amazing about these conferences, is that we get to come together from all parts of the state and bring together what's working, what's not working, regroup, so that when we go back out, we're going out stronger, fortified, and with a solid message that works for where we're from. Where I'm from, in a small town in Navarre, that message may not work in Miami, and that's okay. But that's what we need to talk about, and that's what we need to get out. And that's why it's so important to have these conferences, to be able to come together and understand that what I do in Navarre what folks do in Pensacola affects what happens in Broward, affects what happens in Miami, because we are all connected and we are all tied together.
So it really sounds like, and Christina, what I'm feeling from you is it becomes personal now. Whatever geographical location throughout the state you're in, you have to bring your passion and create a personal relationship with those you're listening to and talking to share that message. Jill, would you agree to that?
Absolutely. What I would say, and I use this example, people are very, very comfortable in their own homes. I have my couch, I sit on it, I'm very, very comfortable. I don't have to experience the outside world if I don't want to. So if it's raining, imagine that you're at home. If it's raining and you're comfortable at home, you just move over, continue to click the TV and do what you do. We need them to get out of that comfortability. I want you to be comfortable at home, but I want you to understand what's going on outside of your home and how that impacts your community and how you can be a part of the change that's so desperately needed. And that doesn't happen sitting on your couch either complaining about it or suffering, because many people are at home suffering. You don't have to suffer. You can join the Black Caucus or any other organization that is out there that is fighting for the change and the difference that we need and be a part of what is going to save our democracy. Or, you know what? For all of us, Christina talked about being scared about her husband and her son going out. What about everybody else? If we don't do this, everybody loses. Everybody loses.
You know, as a leader, if you will, of an organization of over 250 Black-owned media companies from across the country, it is extremely difficult at times to get other organizations to really understand how we work together. We work better together collectively. We all share the same, I don't want to say, we share the same impact and love for our communities, but trying to come together on a platform as opposed to working in different silos has been a problem. How many chapters are there of the caucuses in the state of Florida, and how are you working together?
I'm assuming I'm supposed to answer that since Christina did not.
Come on.
25 chapters, 22 that are up and running, 3 that we're working on. That's over almost 850 members that we have. We're looking at several other chapters across the state of Florida, and they run from Pensacola all the way down to Miami. They're engaged, they're involved. And what I would say is if you're in an area, if you're listening to this and you're in an area in Florida that needs a Black Caucus, reach out to us, because we will help you get your chapter started. We will help you get boots on the ground. We'll help you get organized, and you can be a part of this team that is going to make sure that democracy does not die, but more importantly, that our children are going to be safe, that you're going to be able to wake up in the morning without that panic that some of us have, because you can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to church, you can't go to the movies. Sometimes I'm like, I literally don't know where I can go that I can be safe. And that's a scary place to be in 2024.
Mm-hmm. You know, I want to kind of go back to, and I don't know if Mr. Trevor Mallory is still there, but I did want to go back to just a little, helping our audience understand a little bit about the history of the BBCF. Brother Mallory, help us out there if you can.
Okay, so in one stance, that was the reason why we went out to find Susie Copeland, because we look at her as one of our historians, right? Because she's one of the longest in the history of the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida. So I think that I would rather give her the honor to give you guys the history and a little bit of history about the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida. And personally, you know, me as a girl dad, I'm a father of 4 daughters. I do not not one bit of pushing our women, our sisters up front, right? I know how to play my position. I don't necessarily have to be the smartest or the loudest one in the room, especially when I'm surrounded by so many strong women. And as our first vice said, you know, it's a war out here on our women because they don't have the same rights they just had 4 months ago. So I would like to just step back sometimes and let these women really shine. And part of our problem, I think, in the African American community is we have to get more African American men that look like us to the voting polls. Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party when you're talking about voters, and that's a fact. That's a statistical fact that's been proved a little bit more, and to show up to vote a lot more, then I think it will be a different race and a different time for the Democratic Party. So I just want to step back a little bit and let Ms. Copeland give you guys a little history on the Democratic Black Caucus.
Mm-hmm. But Brother Mallory, before I let you go, and can you just give us a brief vision? Yes, but before you go, can you just give us your vision of where the caucus is going?
So did we lose him or she's there?
Okay, he didn't hear me.
Okay.
In 19,
They still hear me talking.
We can hear you, Susie.
We can hear you.
Okay, while they're doing that, Jill, Christina, they seem to have some difficulties. There was
full speed ahead, that's going to be a very powerful.
Are you good?
Trevor made a statement. Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor made a statement in terms of the percentage of Black women and Black men who vote. You know, I take offense to that. You know, I mean, not offense, but I would dare say that we're running neck to neck in terms of Black men and Black women voting here in Broward County. Now, I dare not buy into the national perspective from some other form of poll takers. We have to be really mindful of those polls, who's taking those polls, and what are their reasons for presenting them in the manner that they're doing. Who are they polling? You know, are they polling? When it comes to us, we should do our own polling and get our own results, because every brother that I talk to votes, and I talk to a lot of brothers. So we have to be really mindful of what we're saying to those prospective voters. Okay.
Right. It's not the polling, it's actual turnout numbers, right? Like we have our van access and we pull our data. Now, the African American men that are registered to vote, they actually turn out in a good percentage. When I made my statement, I was speaking about the African American men that are eligible to vote but are not registered. If we can get that number up, trust and believe our Democratic Party will be a different party. If they're registered, the voting turnout is very good. So I'm pretty sure you're talking to a lot of Black men that are registered voters. What about the ones that are eligible to vote, but just are simply not registered? That's a big number. That's a huge number. We're responsible for over 2 million African Americans in Florida. And we have to get that percentage of African American men up to vote. It's not a kick on African American males. I'm a Black man. I wouldn't kick myself down. But when you look at the numbers and you educate yourself on the numbers, when you can simply realize that if we get more African American men registered to vote, maybe that's how I need to start saying it. If we can get more African American registered to vote, then the numbers will be a lot better for the Democratic Party.
And Trevor, you know, if we go back, let's go back to Obama's first run at it. You know, remember the long lines and the brothers standing in line, you know, I mean, pants hanging off their behinds, gold teeth, smelling like they just came out of a hemp factory, you know, but they were there. So that goes back to what I was saying about the messaging. You know, we gotta be point on with our message.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I concur with you wholeheartedly.
Okay, and it's not always. A lot of times, it's the quality of the candidate, because we saw those same long lines when we had Andrew Gillum running for governor. We saw all the same numbers because that was a quality candidate. If we can get quality candidates of that stature,
okay.
Then yeah, those guys with the pants sagging down, gold teeth, they will, like you say, I need this too.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go to Christina here for a minute. Christina, if you can go ahead and share with us, are you seeing similar things in your community with male voter turnout as opposed to the women?
I am actually, and I would say for Santa Rosa County, it's probably one of the worst when we have maybe 60% of Black men registered as Democrats. If that was played out across the state, or across the nation, that would be horrible. So yes, and then when we compare that to 96% of Black women registered as Democrats, that's a huge number. Again, Santa Rosa County is very different from Broward County, which is why when we're talking about messaging and all those things, it's very different. But yes, it definitely matters. For me, I'm not seeing that shift of Black men going Republican. I am seeing a shift of Black men going NPA. And what that means is that often they're not contacted by folks running for office, particularly within the Democratic Party, often feel left out of the conversation or the message. And honestly, a lot of folks don't understand how our primary system works. So often they get disenfranchised through our primary system. So there's like a whole lot there to unravel from that.
And we have a short time to unravel that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this election is coming up, and it's coming up quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
You know, and I see
our viewers. Yeah, we got some comments coming in. Miss Rachel Johnson, as well as Miss Linda Rahim. But let's see what Rachel says. I agree with him. Lots of Black men are not registered and are saying that they are not voting because of the way we are going to do what they want. Okay, and then some say that the 45 because of who.
Stop. We're not even going to read that. We're not going. And Rachel, we're not going to read any more of those comments.
Yeah.
You know,
but here's a positive. No, and it should be a positive spin on this. That we do inform our voters. And again, it's all about the messaging. It's all about speaking the right language. Yeah. And Christina said it so eloquently. We have to listen to what people are saying. And when they speak the untruths, we have to passionately address that and share information.
And I must say this. Sometimes I can be that person, and I don't mean to offend, but we have to write the narrative that is for us. You know, I'll give you an example, then we're gonna go on. how many times have you heard people say Negroes act like crabs in a barrel? We're always pulling each other down. Well, if you know anything about crabs, crabs create bridges to help other crabs get out of hot spots. If you ever put crabs into some boiling water, you see how they cling to each other, trying to create a bridge for the other ones to crawl out. We need to write the narrative for us, not depending on somebody else's narrative about us. So let's be careful, and especially coming from the Democratic Party.
And use it accurate.
And use it accurate.
Yeah. Now, Sister Johnson did come back and apologize. She said she was sorry. She was just trying to speak to that craziness that's going on out there. And Sister, I understand, but there's just something we don't give credit to on this show. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sister Jill, just kind of continue to give us some insight now on what's going to happen this weekend. We've been back and forth. What's going to be the takeaway from those that attend this event? What can they bring back to their communities and be an impact?
So I would say the first thing that they're going to take back from take from us and take back to their community is that there's Democrats here that absolutely care. That we have shown you that there are candidates that are running up and down the ballot. That we have shown you that there are ways to partner with nonprofits and 501c3s and C4s, and that everything is on the line. I think what we tried to create are panels that are talking about the issues that are plaguing all of us. That we have a panel that is going over media and why are we not using Black media. We have a panel on faith-based and why is it that some of our faith-based spaces, the leadership does not feel like they can just say, go vote or register, not for who, not when, but just that you need to do it. We have a space where Black men are going to be on the panel and they're going to talk about, is the messaging okay? And then we're bringing in our heavy hitter. We're gracious and honored to have Representative Justin J. Pearson. He is young. He is fighting. He's been removed. He fought to get back on. He's fighting again. And he, I believe, is going to give a voice, a truthness to our young people and to our seasoned people, to all of us. I think they're going to be able to sit in that room with over 200 people and say, that's truth. Not what I hear on TikTok, not what I see on Facebook, not what I see on the news, but this is truth, and take it back to their friends and family and then share that. And now we're on a whole different playing field because we don't have a way to get into the TikTok scene fast enough because they hear it. And I have a 23-year-old and a 27-year-old, and my kids tell me, Mom, but they say this and they say this, and their friends say, but Miss Jill, and I'm like, yes, I know what you're hearing, but you know who they will listen to? Somebody that's their age, someone who is walking and talking and living it, someone who was removed because he was saving the lives of children and then had to go back into his community and get reelected, and then is now fighting to get reelected yet again. He's coming all the way to Florida because he sees the trouble, he sees the frustration, he sees the pain, and he knows that if we don't take back Florida now, the entire United States loses. Everyone loses.
And Jill, you said something. The key word for me is fight. Now I know those that are my age, when we say fight, we think of a physical confrontation. I'm talking about fighting with anything that's necessary, by all means necessary. Don't come to me whining because you're outnumbered in the house or you're outnumbered on the other side. So you're outnumbered. We've been outnumbered all of our lives. Come to me with bruised knees and busted up hands and, show me that you've been fighting. We are not fighting. You talk about democracy will not die on my watch. If you're saying that, then that means you're talking about a fight. You're not talking about going peacefully into the night, ride off on some horse into the shadows. You're talking about fighting. So Justin.
No, we are talking about whatever it takes, depending on where you are. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go get firearms. But I am
No,
absolutely going to tell you that depending on where you're at, depending on what your need is and what your community and your family needs, that's the fight that you need to take on. You can no longer sit silent. You can't expect the seasoned people to do it, and we can't rely only on our young people. This is where everybody, all ages, has to jump in, has to fight, and that's what we're doing, whatever that means.
And Sister Linda, is that Linda Rahim?
Mm-hmm.
What Linda says, this is a form of fighting, and this is a tool in the arsenal of fighting. What are Black voters saying about voting by mail? And what is the strategy to get Blacks to the polls? These are, yeah.
He's talking, I can't hear.
I'd like to hear either one of you, Christina or Jill, answer that one. Then, what are we doing to make sure that we're ensuring that people can vote by mail and getting them to the polls? And I see our candidate for SOE is there as well.
So that is one of our major initiatives, is to rebuild the vote by mail. For those who don't know, DeSantis threw everybody off of the recurrent vote by mail. So we had to go back and we have to now re-register everybody to vote by mail. There's going to be a lot of folks who are going to be upset because they have gotten a vote by mail ballot every single year, and this year it's not going to come because they didn't re-register. So a lot of it has to do with education, getting the message out, and that is something that we are working on across the state, making sure it happens in every place that we are. So that is huge, and that's the pathway forward, and that's the pathway to victory. And we have to continue to do so.
Jill, did you have anything you want to add to that?
Jill? I think she froze.
She may be frozen. So here we are near the top of the hour. And I mean, this has been a very engaged conversation. I mean, I think you guys are going to have an awesome.
You better come. You better come check out that panel, that media panel.
That panel is awesome.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So in summation, yes. So we're about 5 minutes away from the top of the hour.
You can hear me now?
Jill, yeah.
Okay.
So in closing,
thank you.
So, Jill, is there?
It's like a closing statement because I couldn't hear you. So
Yes.
I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much for letting us have this opportunity to share our event, to talk with you, to talk with those that are listening, for joining us. But more importantly, I would just do a special plea that whatever you're doing, I know there's comfort at home, and I know sometimes we sit in front of or in our square boxes, but in 2024, I need you to be a puzzle piece. That means that you have to interlock with your neighborhood, you have to interlock with your community, and you're going to have to fight for this. This is not going to come easy. This is not something that you can sit back and dream about and think that it's going to happen. This is not something that you can put on another group of people. You can't say, oh, they'll do it, or the seasoned people, or the young people, or the middle-aged people have to do it. This is an all call from 5 years old to 105 years old. We must hit the streets running. We must prepare. We must unite, and we must work together. So I would say, join us, continue the fight, and do not let democracy die on our watch. We have days until the election. Register and vote. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Christina?
So I want to encourage everybody to go onto your Supervisor of Elections webpage. I want you to double check your name, your address. Make sure that it has the right party affiliation. Make sure that you're registered to vote by mail. Double check all of that. And then I want you to pick 5 people and go and check theirs. And then the door is open. Please join us. Join us this weekend. We have so much going on. It is not too late for you to join us. Please join us this weekend. Come meet myself. Come meet President Mallory. Come meet Jill Lewis Daggs. So much of what you're going to see this weekend came out of a vision from Jill Lewis Daggs, and this is absolutely phenomenal. And I don't want you to be left out. We need you. Your voice matters, your life matters, your joy matters. Join us.
All right. Thank you. And then
Let's
closing
see,
my
'cause I
dear
can't
brother.
hear.
We're gonna let
All
you-
right, very good. Wow, I wanted to throw a shameless plug in about the NNPA and our conference coming up. Do we have that flyer? That flyer ready? Okay, good. Now, this is our event coming up the month of June as well, from the 19th through the 21st in Baltimore. And see, everything is centered around empowerment and getting people to vote, Black folk to understand what our power is. Believe it or not, our vote is stronger than any money in our pocketbooks and our billfolds, because we can cast a broader array that affect us more. So now let me give my closing
But
remarks.
before you say that,
Yeah,
you
go
say
ahead.
that the vote is more valuable than the bag.
That's right.
Then who holding the bag?
And who holding the bag?
Okay.
And I really need us to understand that, money runs out, but that vote will last a long time. So yeah, I'm saying that. And also, if you really want to be a part of an engaging conversation, you need to be there Saturday for that media panel discussion. There's going to be some sparks flying, I assure you, but it's for the betterment and for the uplifting as we climb to raise everybody. And in my closing remarks, we should all stand with determined solidarity that democracy will not die on my watch. This commitment is not just to supremacy, but to the principles of freedom and equality. Democracy faces threats from dictatorship, deception, and division. We must guarantee transparency, accountability, and the rule of law. Every citizen's voice must be heard, and every vote must count. And the rights of all individuals, especially Black people and those historically marginalized, must be protected. From a Black perspective, this fight is deeply personal. We honor the legacies of Medgar Evers, Sojourner Truth, Martin Luther King Jr., and Nat Turner, and Joe Louis, and all those who fought tirelessly for civil rights, justice, and equality. They died fighting, and their sacrifices must not be in vain. Democracy requires active participation and the willingness to die for it. And I stress that point, to die for it. That means to give up oneself for somebody else. We must empower future generations based upon their history and culture with education, fostering critical thinking, and a deep understanding of God-given values. Yeah. Our commitment to keeping democracy alive extends worldwide. We must support freedom, the freedom movement, the universal of freedom movements, and stand in solidarity with those who are fighting oppression. Democracy is a continuous endeavor. Let us remember, its survival depends on our collective will and actions. I stand committed to fight that democracy will not die on my watch. Now let us stand together, let us work together and fight together to ensure democracy's light will shine through the darkest of times. In GP, are you with me? So thank you all very much. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, starting Friday on through Sunday. God bless you all, and let's make this thing happen.
Good night.
Good night.